Following my video about how to become a makeup artist that I posted last week, I will link it above and below. I did say that I was going to do a series of smaller videos to go a little bit more in depth in some of the areas that I spoke about. So I wanted to start off with building up your kit, because that's one of the things that worried me the most when I was starting out. I would see makeup artists online with tons of makeup and just think, I haven't got the money to be able to do that. And I thought that I had to go out and purchase all the stuff that they use because that's what you had to have. Not true. Totally not true. What I would do was I would watch some makeup tutorials, and anytime anyone used like drugstore products and I liked the look of them and they got really good reviews, then I would go out and buy that. But I just wanted to be able to do a video so that you can avoid some of the mistakes that I did. In this video, I'm going to recommend affordable products that you can have in your kit when you are starting out. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off with palettes just because that's what's closest to me. The most used palette to this day by me, like ever, is this Morphe 35G Bronze Golds palette. So it's a little bit battered. I did say in a video the other day I was going to clean it. I haven't cleaned it yet. And there's two things missing. I've had this a really long time. I love the colours in this. It has a perfect mixture of matte and shimmer shadows. Sometimes I see a palette, I saw one the other day that a brand had brought out, and there was way too many shimmers in it compared to the matte. So I would say it was probably about 70% shimmer, 30% matte, which in my opinion as a makeup artist, that's not worth me carrying around. A couple of things that you need to consider if you are a freelance makeup artist especially, is you have to carry all this stuff. You don't want to be carrying 10 different palettes around, because as soon as you start adding more and more products, it gets heavy. Believe me, it gets heavy carrying the stuff around. So you want to make sure that you've got a good mixture of palettes. So you need something that's got... Another shadow just fell out. Oh no. Okay. I know I'm sat here recommending this and it's falling out, but I have had this quite a while, so just bear that in mind. Honestly, it isn't a really good palette. I just look like I'm recommending palettes that fall apart now, but believe me, it's really nice. So you need a palette similar to this one, where it's got sort of your browns, your neutrals, some dark shadows like your black one in case you're doing smoky eyes, and then this one does have a mixture of shimmers. I wouldn't say I'm as crazy about the shimmers in this as I am the matte colours. I think that's just because of the texture. I find that you have to pick up a bit of the product to bring it on. If you wet your brush, they do perform beautifully. And these usually price around £20, but these are going to last you a really, really long time. So it is worth, with your palettes, spending that little bit extra. You can get really good palettes in places like Makeup Revolution, Primark have some really good ones, but this is the one that I would recommend to start off with. They also do have coloured ones on Morphe as well. The next palette up is the godsend of blush palettes. This is the Zoeva Coral Spectrum palette, because it has basically, in my opinion, all the shades of pink that you need. Basically, I couldn't imagine needing any other pink than these. And obviously when you're a makeup artist, having things all in one place and not having to rummage through like all single blushes and stuff like that, palettes like this are just a godsend. Morphe also do a blush palette which do have way more blushes in, which is probably around the same price, but I just really like the pigmentation in this one. It applies really beautifully. It's very buildable. I start off light and then build it up to however I'm doing it on that client. So that's the palette. It's going to move on to foundations. So I'm going to be recommending two foundations that are drugstore products. You can buy them from Boots, Superdrug, even supermarkets, that have been an absolute godsend to me in my makeup kit. They're two very different types of foundation, so that's a really good thing about it. This will prepare you for different skin types and different skin tones. First one I'm starting off with is the L'Oreal True Match. So this is a beautiful foundation, very beautiful. I use this on brides. I think it's a really, really nice formula. They have such a big shade range in this as well. I think these price at about £10 to £11 each, but I buy these. We have 3 for 2 on in Boots, so you're getting 3 foundations for around £20, which is really good considering the NARS foundations are about £30 each, I think. Don't get me wrong, they are really good, but when you're starting out, you don't want to be going buying £30 foundations. You need a range of foundations to be able to match skin tones. The important thing to remember is you can mix foundations. It does take a little bit of getting used to. I can do it now by eye. Usually I can look at them and know which foundations I want to mixed together to get that shade. And if I was mixing these two, for example, I'd do a little pump of this, a little pump of that, mix it together. I usually know how much of each one now because I've been doing it so long, but in the beginning, just do it, mix it up and try a little bit just here on your client just to see what the colour's looking like against their skin. And then if you need to add a little bit more of the darker one or the lighter one, you can do that. So this is quite a hydrating one. I would say if someone has oily skin, it might not necessarily work for them. If they have dry or normal skin, this one would really work. If they have oily skin, I have this foundation to recommend. This is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. These are even cheaper than the L'Oreal True Match. I'm pretty sure these are about £6 or £7. Again, if you get them on 3 for 2, you can get 3 foundations for like £14. And these are really good for oily skin. I couldn't recommend these enough. I use it on myself because I get an oily T-zone. They're a beautiful foundation. They're really inexpensive. They don't have as an extensive range as the L'Oreal one, but as I just mentioned, if you can mix foundations together, then you sort it. The next thing is like primers and illuminators. So I know that there's a lot of question around primers, whether you actually need them or not. I would say you don't always need them. If you're prepping the skin well with moisturiser, hydrating sprays and eye cream and stuff like that, you're probably not going to need a primer. Where you might need a primer is one like this. This is a mattifying primer. So for someone like me who struggles with an oily T-zone, this would be really good to just put in that area so that when you apply the foundation and everything else, it's not sliding around and it's not getting oily. Things like this really does work. This is a L'Oreal Infallible mattifying base. The next thing is illuminators. This is the NYX liquid illuminator Born to Glow, and this is in shade Gleam. This is just if you're wanting to get a little bit of a glowy look going before you apply your foundation. Personally, I don't think that it's an absolutely necessary step. You can do your glow with your highlighter and your setting sprays and stuff like that, but you can notice a difference in this when you use it with everything else. The skin does just look a bit more glowy and luminous. Sticking with the face are sprays. I'm obsessed with setting sprays, priming sprays, hydrating sprays. I have a drawer full of them. I love them. So one of the ones that I would recommend, this is the Primark Sunset Beam. This is the coconut primer water. It's amazing. It smells like holiday and it really does help hydrate the skin. The next thing is the Garnier hydrating spray. So this is the Rose Soothing Mist. They also do an argan one and there's another one I think in a yellow bottle, but these are beautiful. So I basically moisturise my client's skin, then I spray this on. I even spray this in between doing foundations and powders and things like that, and I'll do it at the end. It's not a setting spray, but it does help hydrate the skin, which sort of brings and melts all the makeup together. Everything just looks better when it's hydrated. That is the key to good makeup. I'll put all the products and the prices down below so that you can shop everything that I'm mentioning here. On to concealers. So for concealers, the first one is the Makeup Revolution concealer. Obviously it's very highly rated everywhere. It is a really, really good concealer. They've actually extended their range of colours now, so there are a lot darker tones in there, so you can be prepared for any skin tone that you get. And the next one is Barry M. Now these don't have a large shade range, unfortunately. However, these would be okay for more sort of pale to medium skin tones. The shade Cookie is my favourite concealer ever, like $3.99. I use this and Milk. Milk is for very fair skin, so just be really careful when you're using it. So that's shade 1 and 3 that I use the most in these. You don't need to go out and buy £20-30 concealers when you're starting your kit. The next thing that I am going to talk about is lashes. So lashes when I started out was a really big concern for me because I would look on websites and they would be like £5 or £6 each. So when I started out, I was charging like £10 for makeup, and I thought if I'm buying £5 or £6 lashes, that leaves me with about £4 or £5. I was freelance, I had to drive places, it cost money, petrol to be able to get there, and I just remember thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do. So a couple of things that I did was started looking at like multi-pack lashes. So the one that I used to use quite a lot, and that I still use them now, is the Ardell Demi Wispies. I know, they've got my name. And you get like 4 or 5 in a pack, and I think they're around $11.99. You can get them on falseeyelashes.co.uk. They're beautiful lashes, especially for bridal. They're really, really flattering on pretty much any eyes. So I used to purchase those, but I also didn't, I used to get nervous thinking, our client's going to think, oh, she's using like multi-pack lashes. But honestly, most of the time people don't even care, like they just want the makeup to look good. And then I started thinking, well, I do want some more styles. So I started having a look online. So these lashes that I'm going to recommend are the Peaches Makeup Lashes. These lashes are, when I say value for money, I mean value for money. You can get 10 pairs of lashes for £20.
Oh my God!
I know, you did hear that right. 10 pairs of lashes, £20. You have to pay postage, which I think is about £4. So when you divide that by all of the lashes that you get, it's about £2.40 a lash. And you would think paying £2.40 a lash, you wouldn't be getting good quality. No, no, no. These are amazing. These are my favourite style. These are number 22 and I cannot recommend these lashes enough. But their pigments as well, you will have seen me talk about their pigments if you've watched any of my makeup tutorials, are incredible. They are just so beautiful. I've got the glosses, the lip liners. I've never had anything bad from there. I really haven't. Such a good brand. They're based in Liverpool. They're really, really lovely people. So 100% would recommend them. Make sure you check them out. Next up is powders. Powders can be a bit of a funny one because I have had a lot of dud powders. So the powder that I started off with for setting under eyes and setting the face is the Demi-Lee Matte Maker. It's a pressed powder and this is in shade 10 Classic Ivory. It's a beautiful powder, really, really nice. I put it on with like a little light fluffy brush to set the under eye, and they have a couple of different shades of these. It's never failed me. It's a beautiful powder. You obviously can't bake with it. I haven't found like a loose translucent powder from a drugstore that I like that doesn't give me flashback. I tried a couple of different ones and I just wasn't that keen on them. I use the Huda Beauty one a lot, which is very expensive. I'm on the hunt for a bit more of an inexpensive one. I know that just because I haven't found an inexpensive translucent like setting powder doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I've just not tried it yet. So next is bronzer. If you've watched my makeup tutorials again, you will know that my like ride or die bronzer is the MAC Dark Deep. I would 100% recommend investing in that. I know that it's not necessarily inexpensive. You think they range for about £25, but that for me is one of the things that you could invest in because I've had mine a really long time and it doesn't even look like it's going to run out anytime soon, and I use it a lot. But I'm going to leave that one out of this because I did want to try and keep everything really inexpensive to prove that you do not need to spend a lot of money to get started. So this is the Kiko bronzer. And Kiko Milano, if you've not shopped there before, they have really reasonable priced products as well. I would say it's sort of on par with like L'Oreal prices. Some things can be a little bit higher, but this was really inexpensive. I got this in the sale and I'm pretty sure it was like £4. So this is shade 02 Natural Sienna. This is a really beautiful bronzer. It's got a really nice detail on it as well. These are really, really good. L'Oreal do a Glam Bronze one. That's really good. And I also have the L'Oreal Glam Terrera one. They're really big. It's like double the size of these things. And that one's really good as well. This is the Doll Beauty highlighter. So again, I would say this is a little bit over that really inexpensive mark, but it's not expensive. And again, I've had this a really long time and there's absolutely no way that's going anywhere anytime soon. This is a highlighter that would suit loads and loads of different skin tones. If you can get a palette that has some highlighters in, that's really good. I have the Carly Bible palette with BH Cosmetics she did years ago, and that's got like 4 different highlighters in. You can get highlighter palettes from Morphe. Next up is brows. So I've gone back and forward quite a lot with brows. I tried the Anastasia pomade a good few years ago now. Didn't like it. It dried up really, really quickly, which was really disappointing. The only pomade style products for brows that I've actually found doesn't dry up is this little e.l.f. kit. So I've used this quite a lot in my videos, and it comes with the little pomade and the powder. I don't use the powder, I just use the pomade, and then I'll set it with some like gel. These are really good. These are really inexpensive. This is in dark, but they do have blonde, they have medium brown. I think they have one even darker than this as well. And then again from e.l.f., this is a little brow pencil. So it has a spoolie on this end and then just a little thing that you twist up. It's sort of like the brow whiz. And this is a really good product as well. I have this in a couple of different shades. Eyeliner. So this is a Maybelline gel liner in 01 Black. This is my all-time favourite gel liner. I don't think I would ever try anything else. I've tried liquid ones, little pen ones, other gel liners. Nothing compares to this. So I definitely wouldn't ever go away from this gel liner ever again, really. I couldn't, unless it was discontinued. Please don't, Maybelline. If it was discontinued, I would buy tons of it and just stock because it's amazing. Next up is lips. So I'm going to start off with lip liners. And the lip liners that I'm going to recommend are the NYX ones. So these are the NYX Suede liners. These are about £4 each. They have a massive range of lip liners, NYX. And at £4, you can't complain. So I'd recommend getting like a brownie nude one, a nude one, a pink nude one, a red one, maybe more like of a darker purpley toned one, just so that you've got prepared for anything that anyone asks you. Next up is liquid lipsticks. So I prefer liquid lipsticks on clients over actual lipsticks. One, because they're able to be a bit more hygienic. I pop these either on the back of my hand or on my mixing palette and I use a lip brush. They just apply a lot better. So the actual stick lipsticks, I do use them sometimes. I just find them a bit more trickier to make sure that they're completely sanitary, because if you're taking your lip brush and putting it onto lipstick and then putting on your lips, you have to clean your brush before you go back onto lipstick again, or you just transferring between the lipstick and the lips. So I just tend to stick to liquid lipsticks. So a couple of the things that I recommend are the Nip and Fab liquid lipsticks. These were really inexpensive. I got these on offer and they have a really good staying power. These are the NYX liquid suede. So this is like the matching lipstick to the lip liners that I mentioned. Again, tons and tons of different shades for you to choose from. And then onto lip glosses. These are the NYX Butter Glosses. My favourite shade in these is Madeline. It's a beautiful sort of like brownie nude colour. It goes really, really well with nude lips. Get them from Boots, and like I said, usually you have like 3 for 2 on in Boots most of the time. And then the next thing is what you're going to put your kit in. So I do have a clean and declutter organised video with my makeup kit. I'll link that up above and down below so you can see how I actually put my kit together. I actually use the My Kit Co pouches to organise all of my makeup, but I think I'm going to do another video going through my makeup kit in depth at another time. I did the clean and organised one so you can see some of the products that are used in there. And then in terms of equipment, I have my newer 18-inch ring light that I take to every single appointment. I would never go to an appointment without a ring light. You never know what the lighting's going to be like, and I think they're really, really important. I also have a makeup chair. I didn't have one in the beginning. I wouldn't say that it's necessary, but I ended up getting one because once I started taking group bookings and weddings, my back would hurt so much. If people would just have like dining room chairs, I would be bent over for hours sometimes, and it was ruining my back. The chair's really heavy. I hate carrying it around with me, but it saves me and my back from being in pain. I think it was around £50 to £60, which is quite a lot. So I would say in the beginning, if you're doing 1 or 2 people here and there, you don't need to go out and buy it. The ring light, I would 100% recommend where you can. If you're going to someone's house at night and you're just using their like the light in the room, they can be really warm, they can be really tungsten, and what you're doing on their face probably isn't going to look good in different lights. These kind of ring lights, they give out like daylight, so it's really good to see what it's going to actually look like out in the real world. So whenever I turn up to an appointment, I always have my makeup kit, my ring light, I have my chair. The only other thing that I've not spoken about in this video are brushes, and there's a reason for that. I feel like it might need a bit of a separate video because brushes can be so varied. I don't want to just say to you, go out and buy Zoeva brushes, because I've had brushes from that brand that I've not liked, but ones that I have. I feel like it's just too in-depth to put in this video. So there will be a brush collection video coming separately. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped in some way. If you've got any questions about any of the products or getting your kit together, if you've got absolutely any questions whatsoever, please just let me know. Comment down below. DM me on Instagram, send me an email, anything is fine. I'm happy to help. I hope that these videos do help some people realise that you can do it if you want to be a makeup artist. You just need to believe in yourself, and you don't have to spend a fortune in order to do it. You can do it without spending all of your money. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope to see you again soon. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Let me feel your love again, 'cause I've been running round in circles screaming out your name.